I'm going to be revealing the website structure that brands that are doing over $2 million a month. And again, I'll go ahead and refresh. So again, you know it's not fake. I want to break down the website structure completely inside this video and exactly how you can have and better your website structure and break down everything you're going to need for that. I'm not going to sell you anything. And the only reason why I can call myself a self-proclaimed and know exactly what you need is because we operate about 100 active clothing brands. We manage around $25 million in ad spend, and all day, every day, we manage and make websites better. So if you're wanting to get a few tips, I would recommend watching out this video. And of course, if you want to work with us, you can go apply for that link in the description. We can help you scale out your clothing brand. Now, let's get into this video. It is pretty simple. The structure is simple. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I want to make it as simple and as effective and as actionable as possible. And we're going to first start off with the 3-step formula. Okay. Now, number one, simplicity is everything. I'm going to explain why simplicity is going to be the number one reason, the number one increase, so that you can increase your actual conversion rate. Conversion rate meaning the people who land on your website versus who actually checks out. Simplicity is the one thing that people overlook. Less is more. And then I'm going to go into the actual website theme that I recommend inside the end of this first point here, so that you guys can have that professional, sleek looking website that actually engages your customers. Now let's look at a few great examples, right? So we'll go in, you'll notice that a lot of the websites that are very high performing, there's not much, especially when you go into the actual product page. A lot of these are just super overly simplistic. You can't even scroll down far on the page, and it's done like that for a reason. If they can go scroll down far on the page and look at a bunch of other different things, that's what they're going to go look at. You'll lose a lot of your customers to different pages or different clothes or different other things that you have. When in reality, you want to just focus the majority of your customers to just buy the product that they're actually landing on. So we're going to break down why simplicity is the number one thing that you want to focus on. Now, the number one theme that I'm going to recommend inside of this video is a completely free theme that you can download straight out of Shopify. It's not sponsored, by the way. This is a theme that I recommend a lot of my clients who don't want to spend $400 or $500 on a website theme that gets great, amazing results. I know clients that are doing 100K months with amazing conversion rates from this theme, okay? The website UI is amazing and it's very simplistic and it's super easy to set up. And again, like I said, not sponsored anyway, it's the Horizon theme. Okay, so I'll go ahead and check this out. It's a very simplistic theme. As you can see, it follows a lot of the structured components. It was just the best fit that I honestly found after testing out dozens of other themes, paid themes included. This is the one, and I've spent thousands of dollars on website themes. Again, not sponsored, just trying to give you guys free game. So that's the website theme that I would genuinely recommend you try. Now, the 3 simplicity pillars. Let's break this down. I'm gonna try to make it as simplistic as possible, hence the name. Number one, when you go into your actual product page, so we're gonna be focused a lot on this video about the product page itself. The home page does matter, how the overall web page does matter, but the number one driver of why you're looking at this video is so you can make sales, right? You wanna make as many sales as possible. You want as many people who go to your website to actually buy. They don't buy from the home page, they buy from the product page, which is why you need to spend majority, 80% of your time optimizing the product page, and everything else is kind of in the background, just more, again, like I said, it's more noise. This is the real meat and potatoes. Now it focuses on 3 things, right? The product page focuses on 3 things. If you have these 3 things, you have an amazing product page. If you're missing even one of these things, it can lower your conversion rate drastically. Okay. Now, for me to explain these 3 things, again, I don't want to go on a long tangent, but when someone goes to a product page, it's super simple. They're looking for one thing and one thing only. They want to buy your product. It's a shirt. They don't need you to explain everything about the shirt. They like the shirt. They have 3 questions, and that goes into the 3 simplicity pillars. They have a question on the description, right? What is it made out of? How is it made? You know, how does it fit? All those things. They have a question on when it's going to ship and returns and exchanges, right? So the way that I personally set this up, I'm going to break this down. The product page, I like to break it down into 3 collapsible rows and include each 3 of these actual things. And you'll notice I'll give you a few different great examples from websites that I've looked over that are just online, and some of these are mixed in are some of our clients that we operate that are doing 100K plus months. Notice some of these choose to have 1 or 2 of these, or all 3 of them, but in reality you should have all 3 in some form of fashion. So let's go into it. Again, you want to have your product, you have your title, of course, your price, size, thing, And then you have 3 collapsible rows. Now, what I mean by collapsible rows, when you're able to click it and it goes down just like this, right? And then you go into description. So that's, you go into details and then go over just like the features, talk about the sizing, the material. You talk about all those cool things, how it fits, what the customer may be interested into. And again, I like to make this very short and sweet. I may go in and like shorten up the ad copy, not huge long paragraphs. You want to do stuff people are actually going to read, right? And then you go into shipping, and this person, you can see they collapsed both shipping and returns into one category. You'll see some people structure this differently. Some people want to add additional things like care instructions. I personally just do details, shipping, and then returns and exchanges into 3 separate categories, but other brands do different things, and that's fine if you want to do different things, as long as you have all that information there, okay? Customers are going to want to see the shipping. If you're missing and returns in the actual exchanges of the product, your conversion rate is going to drop dramatically. And again, you can see that's it for the product page. There's not much else here. Let's go to a different, very high performing web page here. Again, you go to their home page. I can click on any of their products. And this is the same for streetwear brands, brands that are selling $500 products, relatively the same. You have your description in a drop down. You do not want to have this in huge paragraphs. The customers who are seeking the information should be able to go and find it. The customers who aren't, you want to keep it very simple. And if they just don't click on it, all they're focused on is the web page and just buying the product. Like, they don't have to go, you're not forcing them to read this information. It's for the clients who want it, it's there, but you're not forcing it. You can see they have the description, and then they have delivery and returns here. Okay, again, they put that into 2 paragraphs, and then they added some extra ones. They added reviews, and then they added materials and productions. That stuff's fine as long as you have the 3 core ones, and that's it. Again, let's go to another page, and then I'll cease my point and go on to how we actually design the product, the home page. Okay, again, you have your details here, right? And they're missing, this is a web page that is missing the shipping and return. That's going to have a huge effect on the actual conversion rate. Even if, like here, you see how it says ships immediately, easy, 10-day returns. He does talk about it here, so that's fine. I guess that is okay. I would still like to have it in big, bold letters down here at the bottom, because it is that important. And then everything else doesn't matter. You don't even have to have a footer. You don't need this email thing. I actually recommend turning it off. Have your little checkout pages, and then optional, you can have other products. Again, I even opt in on turning this off and just focusing on the product. I do all my upsells on the actual add to cart itself. Let's go to another page, and this is a perfect one. Okay, you can see picture. This is a product page, by the way. You have your add to cart, and it's just laid out a little bit differently. These are all different website themes, and that's fine. I want to make a video that's, you know, usable to your website theme and etc. But you go down. You have your shipping and information, return policy, and then up here, here's the description. Again, very short and sweet, and there's not much to it. All right, so that's the same on a lot of high converting website pages. Now, I want to talk about how you're supposed to design the rest of it, right? Like, what is the rest of it? Now, before we go into the rest of it, I'm going to be very clear. In this video, I'm going to focus on 2 things. That's the product page and the home page. Everything does not matter. Your About Us page, no one clicks on that. Only you do. I promise you, no one clicks on that. Everything else, there's literally no other page on your website that's going to make a huge difference, whether you had it or whether you didn't. If you have it, it's fine. Just make it look good, but it's not going to change your conversion rate, and you need to be okay with that. These are the main things. Again, I want to show you how you can make actually good money and do $2.5 million a month, $30 million a year here. I want to show you how you can build out the structure for that, right? So going into the home page, again, very simplistic. Simplicity is more. You want to have your home page, you have your first picture, and typically I like to do a very large on-brand carousel or like a picture, okay? And just like a very high quality picture. That's super emphasis on the actual high quality part. I can go and show you guys a couple of examples of what I mean. So here, this is a little less high quality than I would personally want, but you can see very big picture, and then they go straight into collections, and that's it. And then they repeated it several times. This is honestly a better picture for the first one, and they go back into this collections. All right, let me show you a different example here with Vagabond. So again, you have a very big, so this is a video, right? Again, it's on brand. They're just showing their products. There's no real kind of video or picture that you need on here. Again, it's not going to change your result. Really, the main thing that you want is it to look professional. You're going to be competing with some of the bigger other brands out there. The biggest thing with the website homepage is so it doesn't look scammy. As long as it doesn't look scammy, it looks professional, it's doing its job. Again, it's not going to boost your conversion rate one way or another. Have a big on-brand photo that looks professional, and then scroll down to your collections. And I'll show you a couple other examples, like with John Abgan here. Again, very big image, and then scrolls down very nicely into the actual collections. And I'll show you one more great one with IC Wear IC. You have, again, this is a great on-branded photo. Has a couple of their best pieces here. You can have your logo name if you need, or just have a good image is good as well. Have a shop now button if you need to. Again, really doesn't matter. And then scroll down into your collections, and that's it. Okay. And again, the more simple you're able to get this, the better. And you're going to be able to have better results that way. Now, I'm going to do a quick side note. If you want me to do a full hour, 2-hour long video of me building an actual website from scratch with the Horizon theme that I just showed you guys, go ahead and comment right now, website, and I'll do a full hour, 2-hour video, and I'll literally build a website from scratch for one of our high performing clients, and then test out the actual website theme so you guys can see how well it performs. Now, the third and final thing that I personally love to focus on is optimizing on the 2 key metrics. Now, the 2 key metrics are simple. It's average order value and returning customer rate. It's very important, right? So you want to focus on those 2 key metrics. Now, how you optimize for those is, again, how do we optimize for these metrics without ruining the simplicity? And I'll show you a couple of great examples. For instance, if I go to one of these product pages, and I'll go to Ryku here. If I go to one of their product pages here, you can see there is no average order value. There's no upsells, there's no carts, there's no pop-ups, there's none of that. So how are you supposed to get customers to buy more products like this? I'm going to show you. I like to do, again, all of my upsells and stuff in the cart. That's when they're already going to buy. So you add to cart here, and then you can start showing actual customers more products. This is where you increase your average order value, right? Then they check out, you're able to collect their email. When it comes to returning customer rate, I personally opt out from having huge email pop-ups. Hey, sign up for our email. I personally opt out of those because I just collect the emails from our customers, from abandoned checkouts, and customers who actually bought the product. You'll know, and I'll talk about it later in this video when we get into our final tips here, the more pop-ups that you do, no matter what the pop-up is. It can be a pop-up for an email, SMS. For instance, let me show you an example. So for instance, when you go to their website, they have this big like scratch here, and it looks cool. It's like you got an extra 10% off, you claim it, and you got to enter your email address. All that stuff's cool. It doesn't matter what it is or how good it looks, it lowers your conversion rate. I've tested every single thing, no matter what, it lowers your conversion rate. In some cases, it can be worth it, but in most cases, I haven't seen a brand that truly benefits from a pop-up rather than just collecting that again from abandoned checkout, having it on the email footer, which looks like this, right? And then just getting it from your actual customers. That's how you increase that actual average order value in RCR. Again, only do that stuff on the actual add to cart page and leave the product page as simplistic as possible. I hope I'm really drilling that into you guys. Now, I'm going to leave off with some final tips, and then I'm going to go on like a 5-minute tangent where I go on, I'm going to break down, click on some random websites that are really bad, that some of you guys that are watching this video you might be doing some things that you shouldn't, right? And I'm gonna go down and show what some of these good brands could fix, what they should fix, and what some smaller brands look at their websites, and give you guys as much insight as possible on how I personally look at websites. So by the end of this, you know how to make a high converting website that can do big numbers like the other brands. Now, final tips. Again, less is more. I can't stress that enough. Number 2, pop-ups lower conversion rate. It doesn't matter what it is. I personally always opt to leave them off. Doesn't matter if it's SMS, it doesn't matter if they're saving money, it doesn't matter if it's a customer support pop-up. I personally leave them off. It lowers conversion rate. High quality images only opt for high quality. If it's not, turn it off. If you're gonna have reviews, so for instance, if you're gonna have reviews like customer reviews, you don't wanna have one. If you don't have more than 20 plus, turn them off. Most of the times, I never even put reviews on my products in the first place. They don't need reviews. They like the product. If your website's professional, they don't need social proof. They're gonna buy it. There's no reason for them to not buy it as long as it looks professional. But again, if you have overly complicated website with all these pop-ups, it's not going to look professional. You're going to need reviews, and they're not even going to perform well because your conversion rate is going to be in the trash. I personally use AI to shorten all my copy. So again, I can have these very sleek 1, 2 words, 3 words, and not these long, super huge paragraphs. And then the last thing, don't use obvious AI images. For instance, if we go to this web page here, you can see they have like this. This is obviously AI. You want to avoid those super obvious low quality images. Like this is kind of a low quality image if you look at it. Don't really go for that overly looking AI. For instance, if I go to another example like this, overly kind of AI looking, that is a better AI image, but it again still is not as good as it could be. If you're gonna use AI, it can be useful in some cases. Make sure it looks good. If it doesn't, just opt for a regular concrete background. This performs. I promise you, I know brands that are doing 50K a month with literally just this, okay? You don't need to do the AI images. You don't need to have all these extra fancy product images. You don't need that. Now, that's the main chunk of the video. That's my full tips. Now I want to go through a few of these websites and I want to break down what they can change and give you guys some final tips in a real life kind of way. So let's start off with Faithful here. By the way, I've not, none of these 3 brands I'm about to go through, none of these are my clients. I just want to go through a few random sites that I found on Instagram. Now going into this, again, you see this goes against the tip that I was telling you guys. Okay, like I said, less is more. We want to use AI to shorten the actual images here. This is a huge paragraph that nobody's going to read. They did better when it came to this here, but even these like 2 sentences here could be shortened, and I'd probably want to shorten it. And then preferably, you see how they have like all this info. I would preferably do them in collapsible rows because some clients are just not even going to read. They don't want to read this. They just want to buy it. And having all this just makes it look unprofessional and makes your website look scammy. You don't want that. And if these are AI images, I'm not able to tell you. These are AI images. So these are high quality AI images, so it's fine. Maybe this one doesn't look as good as it could. Other than that, they have, again, you have these spammy 58% off pop-ups. You don't want any of that stuff. I would take off this. I would take off that. I would shorten these into 3 collapsible rows like I showed you guys, for instance, like this, right? Take off the rest of that. And this web page, product page will look good. Now let's take a look at their homepage. Hopefully they did better on the homepage. Homepage, solid, really good. They got their homepage image here that we talked about, right? You want to have your homepage image. The first picture, it's pretty on brand. It's a picture of their products, it's high quality. And they go into the collections. So there's nothing wrong with that. I would just want to shorten up their actual product pages. Like stuff like this, only in stock, that stuff does not work. Timers, all that other stuff doesn't work. You want to get rid of all that stuff. It lowers conversion rate, I promise you. Let's take a look at this one. Again, they have this huge timer here at the top. I personally would turn it off. It just, again, ruins it, makes it look a little scammy. They're using the Shrine theme, if you guys don't know what that is. But I personally, if I was this website, would add a little bit of information on shipping. They don't have any shipping. A customer's gonna go to this website right here, want to buy this product and not know how long it's going to take to ship, and they probably won't buy it. He's probably losing a lot of customers that way. He's spending money on ads, and every single customer that you lose is money that you waste. And if you're spending money on ads, especially if you're spending money on ads, you need to maximize every single dollar because you're paying for them, right? So here I would remove these reviews because there's no reason to have them, and I would go in, add shipping. I would add exchanges and returns, even if there wasn't an exchange or return. If you didn't even have an exchange or return, tell that to your customers. Again, as long as they have the information, it's better to answer a question and leave it open-ended. It's just going to lower conversion rate. And hopefully, maybe he can make a couple of AI images and show a couple of different angles of his product, would make it better. And let's go to the home page here. We have a good on-brand image, so this is good. We scroll down. They don't really go into any collections, but I'm unsure. I think they only have 1 product, so this may be fine. I'd probably, even if you only had 1 product, would just make it like a 1 little square here, rather than do this like product page preview that they're doing here. Doesn't really work. Let's go to this last one here, and let's take a look at their homepage. So starting off, they have a very good homepage, you know, on brand photo. It's a little choppy. It's AI made, you can tell, and it's very low quality. This to me screams scam. And be honest in the comments. If you went on this website, you probably wouldn't buy it. And most customers aren't stupid. They're not going to buy either. So again, I probably would have just opted for an image that's high quality than this video. And you go down and they have all this extra stuff here at the bottom. I'm unsure if this brand does multiple things, which is why they have that. But even if they do all these extra spas and churches, make a separate website for your clothing and then make another website for all this other stuff, because you're just lowering your conversion rate and you're just wasting money if you ever want to run ads or have any brand that does really good money. So you scroll down and I can't really find the clothes honestly at all. I'm like having to scroll down and it's just overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. So let me find the actual clothes here because I know they sell clothes. Lingerie. All right, let's click. Now I got to like go through, click on lingerie. It's just very, doesn't look good. And you go here, these are AI images. They look low quality. They look scammy. I mean, I can almost guarantee you their conversion rate is terrible. They're not converting customers and they probably don't understand why. All right. And there's so many pages. All right, so let's click on this one right here. So yeah, this is probably the worst product page that we've seen. And I'm gonna explain why. Again, this image really isn't that high quality. You could have just settled with like a model pictures in this mannequin background or just used AI. And you wanna make sure this is an actual square image. That's another thing could say in there. Like you see they have like this rectangle image and they have these, you know, other horizontal rectangle images. They have a vertical one, then a horizontal. The ratios are off. You don't want that. It overall is simplistic, but they have no information on shipping or returns or exchanges. And it is overall, they have like the review section, but there's no reviews. They have these pop-ups going on. They have this get pretend 10% pop-off, and they have another pop-up under it. There's just way too many pop-ups here. It just overall looks scammy. This huge sale button, I promise you, they're trying all these things to make the conversion rate go better and they don't know they're hurting themselves, which is why, again, I say simplicity is more. Just go simple, right? I promise you, if they just use the Horizon thing, they can make this website look a lot better because the topography and the UI would just automatically make it look better. But I hope this gives you guys a really good actual insight of what I personally look at when I'm designing and looking at how to increase website conversions for our clients so we can scale them out to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K months. And if you're just starting out or if you're trying to scale your brand out to the next level, maybe you're at 10K, you're trying to get to 100K a month, or maybe you're at no sales and you're trying to get to your first 10K a month, I'd recommend working with our agency Standards Consultant. You can apply for that. The link is in the description and you can work with me personally one-on-one. I can take a look at your website. We can personally build your entire website out for you and walk you through and give you more in-depth detail. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.